Welcome back to another episode of She's Probably Talking to Other Guys. Because you guys loved her so much, Maryann is here with us again. We're going to have a really amazing girly chat all about red flags, green flags, and then we'll discuss if we believe that neutral flags even exist. Just a friendly reminder, I'm not a therapist, psychologist, or expert in human behavior. This is a judgment-free assumption checking zone. Take what resonates and leave the rest. So Maryann, for anyone who missed the first episode we did together, would you like to give a quick intro?
Hello, I'm Maryann, and I am a content creator. I'm obsessed with pink, clearly. Pink and love girly content, and I'm all about romanticizing your life and just, having fun. And I have a dog. Her name is Miley, and she's my baby.
Yay, we absolutely love that around here. So we're going to start off with the burning question of, in your own words, what is a red flag to you?
A red flag to me, obviously, this is the girly chat. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. Some red flags for me is just an example. And I didn't realize this was a red flag until later on in the relationship, but one of my exes would talk so bad about his ex. He would call her all these things, says that she was the problem, but as the relationship went on, he was the problem. It kind of just didn't click until because we were together like for a year and then broke up, and then I took him back like a silly girl, but we've all been there. And it was just another thing. You know, in the beginning, he was super supportive of my career. And then once he saw success, he completely switched to 180. So another red flag for me would be someone that doesn't support your success and they just put you down, because I feel like at the end of the day, if they put you down, there's something deeper within themselves, and then they just take it out all on you.
I
So those
totally
are
get
just like
that. And
two red flags.
yeah, those are great red flags. Like, not great in the sense that we love those, but like those are
Yeah.
pretty much what a red flag is. I feel
Yeah.
like what you touched on there about something deeper going on is so true, because one thing that I've never understood is, if you see someone out there living their best life and they are so happy, how can you not be happy for them?
Right? Wouldn't you want to see your husband or wife, girlfriend, whatever, your partner, to be successful? Because then you're successful at the same time. You're successful together and you're growing together. So I never understood the whole jealousy part. And then, like I said, that's why I said there's something definitely deeper within them that they need to work on themselves. It has nothing to do with you. That's another thing that we have to keep in mind. The red flags that we see in men, it has nothing to do with us. It has something to do with them.
I would absolutely agree on that. If we can switch gears for a second, we're going to dive back into red flags in a little bit, but what would be a green flag for you?
A green flag for me is when a man actually listens and he remembers the small details about you, and just asking you all the personal questions, and just caring and asking, like, how's your day? Like, just being very intentional when you're, starting to date, because obviously we don't want to jump into something so quick. Obviously, we're not talking about the red flags, but, just someone that's really intentional, that actually really wants to focus and is actually interested into like listening to you, even if like you think it's silly, but like they're just so intrigued of what you have to say and what you have going on, in your life. That's a green flag for me.
That's a great green flag. And I think something that you said in the beginning about listening, I always remember, and I have no idea where I saw it, but about the difference between hearing someone and actually listening to someone. And that is so important and true. And like,
Yes.
I mean, I catch myself sometimes too throughout the day. Like, I'm hearing what's going on. Sometimes I'm like, wait, what? And I actually like notice myself switching from hearing to being like, okay, I need to pay more attention and actually listen to like what the
Yep.
situation is.
Yeah. I mean, I've been there. There's some times where where I'm like, oh, I should actually probably listen if I'm actually, interested in this person, because those little things matter. And if they bring it up again and they know that you didn't listen, they're just like, okay, this person isn't interested in me. Why am I still talking to this person? Like, I just think listening to someone is very, very important. And also like their values and
100% agree.
just like, yeah, just, and also like values and family. That's a huge thing for me as well. I just feel like someone that is really close with their family would also want to create like that family figure with you. And so those are some other green flags for me too.
You're going to have to remind me as we continue this
Mhm.
conversation because something you said reminded me of a conversation that I had with someone recently, and I feel like we need to dive in on this a little bit. But something you said about the family aspect is what totally
Yes.
made me think of. So you're going to have to remind me.
Okay.
And one more question are different types of flags is do you believe in neutral behavior or do you feel like everything falls into a red or a green?
Honestly, I feel like it, I don't know, honestly. I feel like it just, I don't know. I feel like it could either be a red flag or a green flag. I guess I didn't really think of like any neutral flags as I've been dating, out there in the dating world. So I don't know. What do you think? Because I don't know.
I feel like the only reason I asked is because I don't really even know that maybe they call them, I don't know, they call them yellow flags on social media, neutral flags. I don't know. I called it a neutral
I've
flag.
heard
I
that.
feel like I've seen
Yeah.
something about like yellow
Yeah.
flags or neutral flags. And that's why I asked because I think it is a thing. I don't know that I've
Yeah.
ever really on it though, because I feel like for me,
Yeah.
I'm someone where I'm either 100% or nothing at all. So kind of
Yeah.
being 50 kind of brings me back to like that
Mm-hmm.
unknown yellow flag, neutral flag zone. So I don't know that I would even notice yellow flag. I feel like I would be either red or green because I'm usually like 0 or 100.
No, I'm right there with you because like I've heard of that, the yellow and the green flag. I'm like, okay, so yellow flag means like be cautious and just kind of double check with what they're doing. I don't know. I've seen that and I honestly feel like that was kind of just made up and then people just go with it. I don't know.
I mean, there are very interesting things that randomly appear on social media. So I would
Yes,
probably
exactly.
believe that. So we're going to dive into a little bit of some things that are definitely a red flag, like hands down, yes, it's a red flag. There's no discussion about it. Versus maybe it's just a little bit of like a subtle discomfort that needs a little bit of clarity. And maybe it could
Hmm.
even end up turning into something along those lines. So when it comes to really big red flags, like the ones that you mentioned earlier, were those really obvious to you? Or did they all kind of slowly creep up on you, but now they're obvious to you?
They slowly creeped up on me because this person made me believe things that I wanted to believe. And like I've said in my last podcast, the podcast I did with you, I wanted that happiness and I wanted to be in a relationship so bad because I wanted to create a life that I thought would make me happy. But at the end of the day, it didn't. So I ignored every single red flag. Like there were so many red flags in that situation. And I just was like, no, he's gonna get better, everything's gonna change, like he's older. Like I was just so in my head about that relationship because I thought that specific relationship would make me happy. But at the end of the day, I was so miserable. And so it just came down to like I had to see like what the actual red flags were in this relationship. So in the beginning it seemed like rainbows and butterfly, but then as time went on, I'm like, oh, I'm silly for staying in this relationship, because you can be with someone and think you're happy, but you're truly not. And it's just like you shouldn't ever have to settle at all, being with someone. So there's just, yeah, it didn't come up right away. So I feel like I knew what he was doing to reel me in.
I'm sure, I mean, I don't know how I feel about the phrase about hindsight is 2020. I don't know exactly what you felt, but my own situations, I've looked back and I'm like, how did I not see that sooner? And no, I'm
Right.
not picking on older men because my two instances, yes, happen to be with men who are maybe like 15 to 20 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
That just happens to be. I'm not opposed to an older man. As my best friend says, I tend to attract, what did she say? We were on the phone the other night and she told me that I tend to attract daddies and men who have girlfriends and don't want to tell me about them. And I was like, that is not good.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
But yeah, so they both happen to be older than me. And those were probably
Mhm.
two of my worst relationships ever. Like they were an absolute nightmare. So many red flags. Like,
Mhm.
and one of them was even a mutual friend that someone had like set me up with. And afterwards, my friend apologized. He was like, I am so sorry. He's like, I literally
Right.
had no idea. I was like, take my phone and block him on everything because
Yeah,
I can't
right?
handle
Oh
this.
my gosh. I am so sorry. And you would think like dating someone much older than you, they would have their ish together. But I just like nowadays, I'm just like, age is just a number. Like you just don't know, even if they can be 10 years older than you, 8 years, 20 years, you know? So it's just funny. It's not funny, but it's just wild.
I think it's very interesting to see how one is truly just in a different place in their life, and you really don't know until you get to know them.
Yep. That is so true. Everything can look so perfect in the beginning, and then once you actually get to know them, you're like, wow, okay.
We're going to dive in on a question for a minute, and you can think for a second if you need to. Have you
Mhm.
ever ignored something because it just didn't feel bad enough in the moment?
100%. In that specific relationship, um, it was just weird. I could never go over to their house. And to me, I just kept telling myself, like, because that person said, I'm embarrassed of what my place looks like because you live in a nicer home and my place isn't that nice. So in my mind, I was like, okay, he's embarrassed. But I told him, I was like, I don't care what your place looks like. Like, I just want to, as long as I'm with you, that's all that matters. But I just kept downplaying it. I was just like, you know what? Maybe he is embarrassed because, he's a man and, men like to impress us. And he just kept saying he wanted to fix things and make things look good. And that's just something that I kept putting aside that I wish I didn't, because I wouldn't have wasted almost 2 years of my life with this person. Like, I honestly, it was a lesson, but I wish I would have actually listened to my gut, and I didn't. I ignored it.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of other ways so that I could imagine people would be in your shoes feeling that. And I think we could easily make up a lot of different reasons as to why we would believe something like that about being embarrassed. I'm sure that you're not alone, especially when it comes to something like that. In my
Yeah.
case, it was I also there, which also I realized was a bit interesting because I was like, that's a bit strange. Like, why can't you ever just come here? And then the one time he came
Right.
close, it was still like we were still like maybe we met at a Starbucks once, but it was still about like
Mhm.
45 minutes away from my. And maybe
Hmm.
that day we stayed there. Like literally he stayed for 20 minutes and he was like, all right, bye. And I was just like, but me, I made up so many excuses. And now I look back and I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, you were too
Right.
nice.
Right. Isn't it so funny how we do that? We just like, what were we thinking? Because like in that moment, we want to give that person the benefit of the doubt, you know? And so then we're just like looking back, we're like, Delulu, just like, why was I, in that mind? Like, what? Yeah, no, I get that. That's crazy.
And I want to ask you, because obviously I don't think that there is a concrete answer to this anywhere. I don't know that anyone even has an answer to this. But why do you think we try so hard to convince ourselves that there's nothing wrong, or we try to just say, oh, it must be this, or this. That's why he did that. Well, like, why do you feel like we try to justify it so much?
I think it's, well, like, for me personally, I always believe in the good in people. And that to me, I feel like I'm still working on, because there are good people out there, but then they take advantage of you. So you just try to be like, no, what if they're going through this? What if they're going through that? Like, we don't know, excuse me, we don't know like their current situation. So we just try to make them look better, even though those red flags are showing to you. Or it could be I know for me in the past, it was because I didn't want to be alone. I thought I needed that relationship. That was for me in that specific position when that whole relationship was going on. And I can't speak for other women. Maybe there's other women that are, feeling the same way, but I just honestly think it was just at that time, I just didn't want to be alone. And I just thought that I was wasting life because I was 31 and I needed to settle down. So that's what I think for me, but that was like my personal experience.
I would say that, I mean, I agree with you about seeing the good in people. That has
Yeah.
always been something that I did. I
Mhm.
feel like just because of my life experiences, I have kind of gotten better at taking things at face value and trying
Mhm.
to do more quick synopsis of, well, yeah, I'm gonna leave this wall up now. Maybe the
Mhm.
wall can like lower in the future. Maybe it's gonna stay where it
Right.
is. And then other people, we have like iron bars around the walls and they are never coming in ever again.
Yep. Never. No. No. You're completely blocked.
But I think that I would say maybe it wasn't necessarily that I didn't want to be alone, which was why I was trying to maybe rush relationships, or maybe
Mhm.
why I thought like an older guy would be more suitable for me. I think
Yeah.
like from thinking back in my 20s, there was just this concept, and maybe it was society. Like I thought that I wanted to settle down. Like I
Mhm.
thought that I wanted to find someone. For me, it was
Mhm.
like, oh, he already like has kids. That's great. You know,
Mhm.
like for me, that was something that I felt like I was ready to jump into. And then I don't know, now I look at my situation and I'm like, I am ready to have fun. I am ready to just go out
Right.
there and have fun. And, you know, I did swear off dancers. I was like, dancers are not good for me, but time will tell. I think
Yes.
we will see. I think that as time goes on, you truly learn so much about yourself. Like, yes, we
Yeah.
learn about people and people's actions, and like, we never really figure out why they do what they do. But I feel like I've learned so much more about myself during this whole process as well,
Yes.
that if anything, dating has become more of a life lesson for me than anything else.
No, I 100% agree with you. And it's also just like a thing where it's also like, oh, okay, I actually really want this in a person. I don't want this, I thought I wanted this, but now I actually want this. So it's just like, I'm a strong believer people come into your life for a reason. You definitely learn a lesson for sure. So I definitely agree with that.
Now, when it comes to chemistry,
Mhm.
there are some people who believe that butterflies, like making you nervous, are a good thing. And there are some people who say that no, the right person is going to make you just feel good. Like you're not going to get nervous. You're not going to get anything. Like you're just going to feel good. Where do
Mhm.
you fall on that scale? And do you even think that that scale is accurate whatsoever?
Honestly, I don't think it's accurate. I mean, I've been on dates where I've been like, obviously they've never worked out, but I've been on dates where I've been so nervous, but I think it's more because you want to like impress that person. You want to make sure like that you're just like on your best. And because there's been times like this one time I went on a date, we went to putt-putt golf in Seattle and everything. And I was so nervous. But then once I got there and got to actually like hang out with him and talk to him, my whole entire nerve system just calmed down. I felt comfortable with him and I, was just like, oh, this date is going really well. But then it ended horribly. So for me, from my personal experience, I just feel like that just doesn't exist because I've experienced the nervousness and then I think that, oh my gosh, everything is going great. And then it doesn't. So I don't know. I just feel like everyone always gets nervous on their first date anyways. Because it's like, yeah, you can sit here, you can text and talk on the phone, and even like FaceTime. There's been times where they're like, let's FaceTime, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. I get nervous. So I think it's just like a natural thing for us humans to get nervous for anything. Not even just a date, but we can get nervous. You know, the first time I did the podcast with you, I was nervous. I was like, oh, I was shaking. And I told you I blacked out. So I don't know. That's how I see it.
And everyone loved your episode. So even if you blacked out, I got so many messages.
I love
Even
that.
the
That
other
makes
day.
me so happy. That makes me
I
so
have to
happy.
tell you. So the other day, my mom just looked at me and she was like, you know, I listened to your podcast. And for a moment, I was like, oh gosh, like what episode did you listen to? And she was like, I loved her. And I was like, well, what was her name? And she said, Maryann. And I was like,
Oh,
I love that that's the episode that you picked and that you love her.
you're like, wait, what? So yeah, it's just like it's just a normal thing for us humans to get nervous. It doesn't even have to be with like dating or anything. It's just life. So
Absolutely. I mean,
mhm.
dancing too. I come from a
Yeah.
profession where even though we're professionals at this, like
Mhm.
we get nervous. So
Yeah.
nerves, I feel like are everywhere. I also feel like nerves are a sign that you care. If we go to more emotional red flags for a second. So people see us as like, you know, oh, the chill girl. I can, you know, test all my red flags out on her and see if she stays kind of thing. Do you feel like, and I know we've touched on this a little bit, but do you feel like you've downplayed your needs, whether it was like emotional or even safety needs, just to keep it going?
I mean, I would be lying if I said no. We've all been there. We've all, been in that position because like once again it goes back to where in my situation I was like I'm 34 years old. I need to be in a relationship. I need to, be a mom. I need to do X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, I don't need it. It's like someone that comes into my life. It's not like love where I'm at and I love who I am. And so that person will just be a bonus. Like, yes, I want to have like, that happy ending, but it's just like I don't now just being all the stuff that I've been through, I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. If I see a red flag, I need to stop it right there and then. Because at the end of the day, I'm sit here and waste my time or his time. I mean, because there are some men that would love to just waste your time, for their own entertainment, which is ridiculous.
We're going to bring up my story for a moment and you're going to tell me your thoughts on that. I had never straight up asked this person if he was single or not. My best friend just wanted me to find out. So finally, I asked him afterwards. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that was his response. So I asked him if he was single straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally gave me like the storyline of, I'm going to say his last relationship because that's what he was saying to me. So he was like saying when they met and this and that and da 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 da. But according to Facebook, he has a current fiance, but he never mentioned her.
Did you do digging? Did you click on her profile?
It's private. We couldn't do it more.
Dang it. Because I always say us girls, we're great FBIs. I'm sorry.
That's what I was. It was one of those moments where I asked a question when I'm like 90% sure I knew the answer.
Right.
Right?
I feel like it's almost like he gaslighted you.
I'm not sure.
That to me, that is very weird because I don't know, if I was engaged to someone, of course I'm going to be like, yeah, I have a fiance. I'm engaged. I'm not going to talk about a last relationship. That is just weird to me. So it's like, do you have people on the side? Because some people live a double life. Just saying.
I know. And my best friend said, you attract daddies and men who aren't available. And he happens to be both. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, what? Like, what did I do? I didn't do anything to ask for this.
Right.
And then, of course, it makes me so surprised where in Man-Child when she makes the comment about, how they find her and we don't find them. And I'm like, I'm with Sabrina on this one. I didn't find him. He found me.
I agree. I'm on your side. I agree 100%.
No, nothing has happened. The reason she wanted me to ask him if he was single was because she thought he was flirting with me, but I don't really know because one, I don't know when people are flirting with me. We've talked about this. Two, I had no idea about like anything relationship wise with him because one, I was never really interested. Like, yes, I have said to my best friend that he's hot and he's attractive, but I've never myself I've never myself like actually said anything to him. She wanted to know if he was single. But she wanted to figure out if he was actually flirting with me or not. We have no answer. We have no idea if he's flirting with me or not. And we still have no answer to our question. But I thought that that was a good scenario to bring up for red flag, green flag day.
That to me, that's definitely a red flag because he's definitely hiding something. To me, that's just a weird whole situation. And the thing is, men could be really good about hiding things, but like I said, us girls, we're sometimes really great FBIs and we can find some stuff out.
Speaking of FBI, I did, I don't know, this was like 6 months ago maybe. I was on Indeed just for the hell of it, like looking up some content creation things. And the first listing that came up was for me to become an FBI agent. And I was like, oh, have you been looking at my search history? Like, is this
Right?
you're not good at this?
You
I was
might
like,
be qualified. Thank you.
I need a content creator. So I'm not sure why this came up as number one, but okay.
That's hysterical. That was number one. Oh,
Now,
gosh.
we talked a little bit about this in our previous episode. What does effort look like to you?
When for me, I feel like effort is when a man actually follows through with what he says. Because he can just sit here and say, I want to take you out, I want to do this, I want to do that. But it's like, for me, it's just like actions matter most. Like, you can talk the talk, but I need you to walk the walk. You know what I mean? Like, you're actually making the effort to reach out to me. You're actually making the effort to communicate. You're actually making the effort to take me out and, making the effort to say like, oh, your hair looks nice, or just like the little things. Effort is huge for me because I always put in so much effort into a relationship. And even when I've done this in the past, even when I see that there's no effort. But the problem is that's just who I am. And sometimes for myself, I'm like, is this a bad thing that I put too much like effort? But then at the same time, I shouldn't be putting too much effort in a relationship, because it's like, why should I put in effort if they're not going to be putting in effort? You know?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that that kind of stems in all aspects of life too. Like,
Mm.
is this person putting effort in anywhere in their life? I mean,
Yeah.
as a ballroom dance instructor, I a little lecture with some of the students yesterday. Like, you literally haven't practiced in 2 weeks and you're shocked as to why your routine looks the way that it is.
Like, you have to
So
actually
do the work. And I think that this stems in every aspect of life too. And for you, because it's definitely, I would say, related to effort. What's the difference for you between someone actually being busy and someone not?
They say that they're going to do something, but then they end up not doing it. I just feel like that's like, okay, well, just an example, like, oh, hey, I'm going to FaceTime you at this time. And then, he doesn't, but then he communicates like, hey, I'm, cooking dinner. I just give me a few minutes kind of thing. And then he ends up following through. But it's just, I feel like we can pick up, those excuses of, a man when he says something and it's just like, oh, he's actually not following through with what he says. Cause like, I feel like at the end of the day, if you're actually interested in someone and you want to get to know them, you're going to prioritize them. I know life gets busy. I know we have other things that go on our lives, like, you know, family, kids, friends, personal life, like if you're going through something. But I feel like for prioritizing someone, communication is huge. Like if you're going through something, like let me know, you know, because then I could try to, you know, help or take a step back. But it's just like communication is a huge thing for me when it comes to prioritizing and just showing up, you know.
That's so important. And again, I feel like it is directly related to effort, about putting effort in and
Correct.
where you're really putting your effort in. And when it comes
Correct.
to a relationship, I mean, I believe it's expected that the effort is going into the relationship, but some people seem to think otherwise.
Yes, yes. And it's, yeah, it's, I mean, the thing is, like, I know men are simple, but so are we. Like, we just like little things. Like, it doesn't have to be so extravagant. Like, yeah, those are nice, you know, but it doesn't have to be like huge. Like, just think of the little things. Just prioritize me, you know?
It's true though. An Instagram post came up on my feed the other day, and it basically was like, women are pretty easy. We just want to be taken to the beach. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so true. Just take me to the beach and I'll be happy.
Yes, exactly. And it's just like, also at the end of the day, it's just like, I want to hang out with my person, you know? I don't care what we're doing. We can just at night go under the stars, you know, stargate. You know, it doesn't have to be extravagant, but yeah.
That's so cute. I love that, stargazing.
That's just something I really want to do, so that's why I said it.
If you'd like to date Maryann, you have to DM me first, and we will screen you to see if you check her boxes before she'll reply.
Yes, yes. On blind date. Oh my gosh, speaking of blind date, okay, I know this is like off topic, but I have you heard of stranger photo shoot?
No, that sounds creepy. Please explain.
It, it's probably called something else, but that's just like the first name that came up. But I saw it on TikTok the other day. You describe yourself, you describe who you're interested and your age, and they find someone that is compatible for you. And then you guys meet up and you guys take photos, and these photos actually look really cute. Like if you look it up, you would be surprised, like they're actually like a real couple, and then you can decide if you want to go on a date or not. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
if I would ever do it.
I feel like if we did it, it would need to be an experiment, like a labeled experiment, and we would need to do it together.
Yes. Because it was so cute.
I don't spend that much time in TikTok land. So if that's where it is, then I definitely haven't seen it. But now that we spoke about it, I'm sure it'll come up on my phone because I'm a big believer. My phone is always listening.
Yes, it is. And yeah. I just thought it was cute, and especially the men that are first, you know, seeing these women. They brought them flowers. I was like, oh, good job.
You know, in our last episode, you did talk about people bringing you flowers. I remember that.
Yeah, no, I like some flowers here and there. You know, I buy myself flowers, so.
All right, we are going to do some rapid fire red flags, and I'm going to throw some neutral, well, yellow flags in there. These are what the internet considers flags. I chose them from a list, but I didn't make these up. So I just want you to kind of label that as which flag you think it is. I guess if you're not sure about one, we'll just automatically label it as like a neutral or a yellow one.
Okay.
All right. Hot and cold communication with no explanation.
That's a red flag.
Being private about social media or your posting habits.
Now, this is where I feel like this is kind of not red or green. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. We can roll with that. Love bombing followed by sudden withdrawal.
Oh, that's a red flag for sure. I've had so many love bombers. So many.
I
And then
about love bombing on Love Island. I didn't even know it was a thing until I was watching Love Island one night and they were talking about it. And I was like, what is this?
it's a thing. I mean, I've been there in the past. I'm not gonna lie, I've love bombed in the past, but it's just like I don't do that anymore. But it's just like it's love bombing is like a huge, huge thing. And it's just like now I really try to look out for that because I feel like it also creates a false story too about the person. To me, I feel like it's not real.
Let's do respecting boundaries the first time they're set.
Oh, that's if you can respect what boundaries I put down, then that's a green flag because once again, you're listening to me.
We love that.
Yes.
Constantly testing your reaction to see what they can get away with.
Oh, that's a red flag for sure. Because why are you trying to test me? Yeah. Like, what? Why? Like, don't test me on that. Don't do that. Yeah, huge red flag.
Being focused on work or busy periods of life.
I feel like this one is just kind of like, I mean, if you're focused on work, that's amazing. Because for me, I want someone that is, goal oriented and driven. And if you're busy, but are you busy with work trying to achieve your goals, or are you actually busy with just life? So this one I feel like is definitely not a red or green flag. It just, to me, it depends on the situation.
Willingness to clarify instead of confuse.
Oh, you need to clarify. Don't confuse that. Like if you're going to sit there and confuse, then that's a red flag. But if you're going to have, if you're going to clarify everything, to me, that's a green flag. Because once again, you're communicating with me. And communication is huge in a relationship.
Being avoidant or liking periods of isolation.
I feel like being avoidant can be a red flag. I know for me, I can't date someone that is avoidant, because that's just me personally. And isolation, I mean, I love being a homebody, but let's go out and have fun. So I don't, I honestly, it just kind of just depends on the situation, and it depends on, you as a person. Some people are okay with dating, an avoidant person, but me, I can't. I need someone that's able to communicate with me.
Having different communication styles.
This is so funny that you bring this up because I was actually listening to a podcast about this. And once again, a huge thing is communication. If someone doesn't, if they're not a huge texter, okay, then communicate, that with me. But if you say you're a great texter and you're not, then to me, that's a red flag because you're lying to me. You're not being honest. So that one, it just depends, because there are some people that would also rather talk on the phone instead of texting, all day. And I can respect that. It just depends on their lifestyle.
And I'm going to end this on one where I know what you're going to say, but we're going to end on it because the internet clearly agrees with you. Talking badly about every ex as crazy or toxic.
That is a huge, 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 huge red flag. If your person that you're talking to is bad mouthing their ex, you need to question, why are they bad their ex? Because it will show later on in the relationship why. Because yeah, they like call her names. They just, oh man, yeah, just don't do it, ladies. Stay far away if they talk bad about their ex. Like I have some exes that I don't talk bad about because it didn't, they were still a great person at the end of the day. And it's just like people that I was with, there's reasons why things ended, but I also knew why that situation happened. But I'm not going to sit here and badmouth them because also I was younger. You learn a lot of things as you get older, but ladies, stay far, far away from that. Just saying.
And I feel like something that I am going to point out too is, even when you were discussing a bad situation earlier, like you never actually sat here and name called. You did not call them toxic or crazy. Like there are ways that you can discuss situations without the name calling. I think that maybe
Correct.
if you're listening to this and you realize that you are someone who does that, there's a difference between maybe venting once to your best friend when you're really angry about it, and then kind of holding that resentment as time goes on. And I just feel like also the beginning of this conversation is a great example of you can have a really bad situation with someone and you still don't need to dive in and call them names.
Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, what is that going to do for you? It's going to do absolutely nothing for you. And it's just, there's no need because that was in the past, and you just take it as, you know, as a lesson. I mean, we've all been there where we badmouth.
There's always that girls group chat or that phone
Yes.
call. You know,
Yep.
for me, it's with a guy friend, and I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, I don't
Right?
understand why this just happened.
Yeah. No, I get that 100%. I understand that for sure. Because I mean, obviously, when you're dating someone and you're getting to know them and they ask about your past, you can talk about your past, but respectfully for yourself and the person that you're talking to, and for the person that was in that situation, you just kind of got to respect that. You know, you can say all these bad things, but just don't name call them. What they did is what they did. So you just, yeah. Because I get asked, how's your past relationships? I've never, ever badmouthed one of my exes. I just told them what happened. Never said anything horrible about them.
And yeah, I think that's a very important lesson too. So if you're someone who has done that and you're kind of realizing by listening to this episode that maybe you shouldn't, I think try finding ways, even if that means you need to practice like to yourself in the mirror, try finding ways to tell the story, you know, you're
Yeah.
comfortable with. Take away some of those name callings and things like that. I mean, again,
Yeah.
there's a difference between an initial vent with your best friend and then, okay, it's time to move on. And like, this is what happened. We're good. Or talk to your therapist if you have one and, you know, you need to figure out how to kind
Right.
of handle this. You are not alone. If you have been through these situations, part of the reason that we had this chat today is because if it happened to you, it's probably happened to a lot of other women or even
Yeah.
guys. Yes, we are guilty of our own red flags too. We're not sitting here saying that we don't have any. But
Yep.
again, I think it's more important to know that you're not alone if these things are happening to you. We're going to ask her a few more questions before we let Maryann go. So, in closing, do you think that we actually miss red flags or we just delay accepting them?
I honestly feel like both. You know, I feel like both in the situation, like once again, you try to give the benefit of the doubt of each person, and you're just like, well, I don't really know much about this person. Like maybe there's something deeper in there. So for me, if I notice a red flag, I don't cut that person off right away. I want to get them know a little deeper. And then once I kind of see like, okay, this person, you know, is definitely not mature yet, then to me that's a red flag. Because at the end of the day, I know what I want and I know what I deserve, and I'm not here to play games. So I could see the red flag, but I'm not going to close the door off completely just yet. I like to dive in a little bit deeper about this person. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what that person is going through.
That's so true. Everyone's going through different things. And like the yellow flag we mentioned, not everybody shares everything. So depending on the situation, you don't know what's happening. There's a lot of different things that could be happening in someone's life that you don't know. And we don't know why they're doing this. I just think that as you go through, there is also that perspective where if I was in their shoes, something has been going on, and maybe I did give a weird answer to someone at some point, and it was because something was going on. So I like that though, that, you know, you're aware, but you're not completely giving up yet, or you're not completely moved on or checked out yet. And I do think that, again, depending on the situation, you obviously need to do what's best for you. But
Correct.
if you can kind of figure out what's underneath it, then maybe there's a way to, because communication.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because, there's things that I'm still learning about myself that trigger me and that I say, and I'm like, oh, you take a step back. And also, if you're starting to get to know someone, at the end of the day, they kind of don't owe you anything because you're just getting to know them, so, and that's why I don't close the door off right away, because the whole point of dating is getting to know someone. And don't
And
take
then
ladies.
it's true. You know that this is more of an unfiltered, say what's on your mind kind of podcast. So that is exactly what we are doing.
Yeah.
So what do you think would change in dating if people trusted their gut more?
We wouldn't be wasting our time. We wouldn't be putting ourselves out there and getting hurt and going through the emotional roller coaster. Because I mean, You know, sometimes when you actually get heartbroken, sometimes it's really hard to pick yourself back up. And then you kind of bring yourself down and then you ask yourself, wait, am I the problem? What is wrong with me? Like you put all the bad on you, and you don't reflect on anything. And this is where I, grew. It's like I reflect on every little situation that happens because it's normal for us human to talk bad about ourselves. So it's like if we actually listen to our gut feeling, we could definitely save ourselves, that heartbreak and wasting time because our time is so precious. So you have to be intentional with who you want to spend your time with because that really does matter. So always listen to your gut because when your gut tells you something is bad or off, you just got to listen to it. We can't ignore it. I've been there.
Well, thank you for choosing to spend your time with me this afternoon. I'm really excited for everyone to tune into this episode. I fully expect to get as many DMs as I did last time. So thank you, Maryann, for being here. As always, everyone, I will include her handles in the description of the episode. So you'll be able to find her on social media and follow along with her very pink and exciting life.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Seriously, I loved it.